Hello, everyone. Welcome to another exciting edition of Woman Up. I'm Leah, and I'm joined, as usual, by the lovely Sue. Hi,
Hi, Leah. How
Sue.
are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. Still thinking about yesterday's antics.
Yeah, it was crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
So,
Um,
yeah,
Unexpectedly so.
because we knew going into that area there could be some hostile groups there, but what happened we did not expect.
No.
So, you want to tell everyone what happened, Leah?
Well, where do I start? It was surreal. We were expecting um well, I don't really know what we were expecting, to just stand there with our signs, really, as we
I
usually.
guess, I guess first of all, IWD told us that there was a National Labour Conference at the Convention Centre at South Bank. And so we joined IWD Brisbane Meanjin in this action. And that was yesterday. The day started off quite nicely.
I did. We met at a nice coffee shop. It was very civilized.
Yeah, yeah.
There
Got our signs ready.
were about, how many of us were there? About
There
15,
are,
was it?
I think there was 11.
11. Yeah.
Yeah, so our
Um,
the group of protesting women keeps growing. Um,
I was surprised. It was really lovely surprise to walk into the coffee shop and see all those women there ready
yeah.
to go and do this.
And
It was great.
those wonderful signs that Anna
Yeah.
had, they were just great. It was really good. So it started off really well.
Yeah. And then we made our way um, to the place where we basically just stood there with our signs, didn't we? We found a spot.
Yeah,
Um, it was basically an intersection, wasn't it?
yeah,
So there were already protests happening in different spots. I think they were protesting rent.
yeah.
Some of
For
them were protesting rent prices,
yeah,
the
yeah,
rent crisis.
yeah. And I'm not sure what the other groups were. A
I
few
heard
groups.
a Palestine group,
Yeah,
um, and I don't know what the other one was for, but yeah, there were a few. So we were like thinking, oh, well, we'll just be another one, and we'll
yeah.
go over there.
Yes, we would exercise our democratic rights to protest about women's rights and the protection of children. So on the day, that's all we were doing.
Because it was a Labour conference that was taking place, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah. So any person is allowed to go out in the street and protest, but apparently women can't.
Yeah, not women like us,
No, that's
anyway.
right.
Um, so we found that out pretty quickly, didn't we? When
Yeah.
we were walking to the spot with our signs, and we already got middle-aged, balding men telling us
Yes.
to fuck off.
Yeah.
Um,
Which we figured were in the closet AGPs,
yeah,
because any normal, rational thinking, decent man would understand that there's a loss of women's rights and that a loss in the protection of children. So when you see a man like that telling us to fuck off, you think, okay, closet AGP. Because,
well, another lady had a sign that says basically, Anastasia, what is a woman?
yeah.
And a man came up to her and said, a cocksucker.
Oh, great.
So that was the feeling when we first got there. So the misogyny was definitely in the air, aimed squarely towards us. But anyway, we got to the spot where we were gonna take out our signs, and we put our big banner up, and we stood there. And um, yeah, I mean, we were in the snake pit, weren't we? Because
Yeah, but we went across the intersection. So over the other side of the road, there were two corners that no one was standing at. So we decided to head over to one of the corners, and that's where we unfurled the woman, adult, human, female, which seems to trigger misogynistic men. That's all you have to do. You say woman, adult, human, female, and it just triggers them. Who ever thought the dictionary definition would be so dangerous?
Yeah, and it's a big sign as well.
Yeah,
it is good. I'm really happy that I made that, because we've had good use out of that.
Oh, it has definitely really impacted. Every time it goes up, we get a response. Generally, overly positive response. Can it be overly positive? No, but it's, overwhelmingly positive. But Anna told us about some of the groups being in the area that they could be hostile to women, not that they would be trans activists, but just very misogynistic groups. So we were prepared for a level of hostility, but what we got was quite astounding, really. So then we were going from corner to corner, moving around. And we did get positive responses from people, even though we were in a very woke area, we still got positive responses. But then we went into the snake pit.
Yeah. Our naive thought was, oh, there's a lovely patch of grass over there. And I thought, oh, great, I'll be able to take my shoes off and stand in the
Yeah.
And there were a few people in there, but if you see on our group photo that we took, we were basically there on our own.
Yeah.
But there were some other people there off to the side of where we were. And were they from the Greens?
Yes. Yeah.
So we got our signs out, and we
take a photo.
To take a photo. Naively thinking we can coexist with these other people.
But it was also, we were just going over there to have a photo taken, and then we were leaving because you and I packed up the large adult human female banner and we were just leaving.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden...
we were just leaving, weren't we? Because we said, we all agreed that we were going to go. Yeah. So, but as we were trying to have our photos taken, before I'd put the banner away, these two incel-looking type of men, probably in their 30s, completely blocked us with their sign. Wherever we walked, they would come in front of us. These two disgusting, misogynistic men who didn't want to allow women the chance to stand there and have their opinion. We had to be physically stopped from doing that by these men. And then, all of a sudden, we were surrounded.
Here! Trans are welcome 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 here! Shame on you! Trans are welcome here! 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 Trans are welcome here!
No man has a penis.
Trans are welcome here!
Yeah, we couldn't move. We were completely...
I still don't know where these people came from. I don't know where the drums came from, the trumpet that they bought.
Yeah, you did see one of them make a phone call, remember? Because you said to me, oh, he's probably calling for backup.
Well, he was a funny one because he came up to me and Narissa, and he was obviously dressing what he thinks a 18-year-old girl dresses like. He had short shorts on, and I can't remember what he had on top, but he was pretending to be a woman, but he looked like a man.
Yeah.
So he was having a conversation with Narissa, asking, you know, how do you know who a woman is after looking at our signs? And it's like, because we've got eyes and ears and we're breathing.
Yeah.
Like, we can see who the men are. And he wouldn't have it. He just wouldn't have it. He was the one that ended up in my face. Yeah,
because they did encircle us really quickly, didn't they? And then I think it might have been Narissa said turn around, because then they started coming very close to you, and we were really worried. Again, a pregnant woman, they could see that you were pregnant, and they pushed forward, and they were going to keep pushing forward towards you. So I went up and pushed back. Then they and good old Sergeant's mob have got that footage now. But of course, he doesn't explain what that footage actually showed. And when I put my hand up, what we were doing is we were trying to protect you because you're carrying a child.
Yeah, and I didn't expect that level of aggression.
Yeah. Yeah. They're not full of love. They are not full of love. They are so hateful. And the thing is, they really think because they live in their bubble, they only mix with each other, and they think the public supports this. That I believe they really believe that they have got full public support, and that with this tiny minority, but they're wrong, because if they went out and spoke to the public without being aggressive towards them and people being fearful, they would know this queer theory, people don't want a bar of it. If they had the queer theory would be okay if they didn't want to change the world to suit them. But that's what it's about. We've got to change every aspect of society to suit them. And they have no idea. Like yesterday, they would have thought, oh, you know, because there were so many queers there, that's the world they live in. So, but the whole intersection, all the protesting just stopped because of all this noise. And then the police were there, and it was just crazy. And then they were chanting, what was it? I can't even remember the chant now. They did it. See, I've lost my voice.
TERFs aren't welcome here. TERFs aren't welcome here.
Yeah.
TERFs aren't welcome here.
And then they go into like a zombie-like, if they've got their eyes glaze over.
Welcome here! TERFs aren't welcome here!
Misogyny!
TERFs aren't welcome here! TERFs aren't welcome here! TERFs aren't welcome here! TERFs aren't welcome.
More so the young girls that are there, they are completely and utterly programmed.
Wow, it was shocking. I've never been involved. I've never witnessed that before.
Yeah.
So many of them together like that and just chanting.
Someone on Facebook said that by watching that, they could see, they experienced that in Hobart when Kelly J was here. They did the same thing. So it's obviously part of their playbook is that you surround them. You know, you call in backup, and then you just keep moving forward on them. And, you know, and we were leaving at that stage. We'd done what we wanted to do, and we were leaving. So, and the police were watching what was going on, because one of them threw water over Narissa.
TERFs aren't welcome here! 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 TERFs aren't welcome here!
Men are not women! Men
and the police were watching, and it wasn't until the police thought, oh, okay, well, there's going to be violence here, and they stepped in and they told us they had to take us out because of our safety. And then they walked us across the road, and two of the nutcases followed. And you've got that footage, Leah, of that hysterical young woman.
That woman was screaming for about 30 seconds before I started filming that. Brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
She was just going mad. And, the world we're now living in now that's just completely normal.
Yeah.
That is what is happening on our streets.
Yeah.
Reacting like that, screaming at women.
And then when the police said they had to get us out of there for our own safety, they still followed. And then the police said, we've got to walk you down at least a block to make sure that you're safe.
Yeah. So they know that we're not safe. Yeah.
But then these who were the Greens Party, they were there representing the Greens Party. This is how the Greens Party, these are their members. So this is what the Greens is about now. But they're singing out they had won. Won what?
They made us fuck off. That's what they think.
Yeah. But they didn't.
No.
They have, to tell us we're not allowed there, because one of them said, you're not allowed here. And I went, why? Have you got a permit for this area? No. And I said, well, it's public.
Yeah.
But we're not allowed there because they said so. So they just think they can dictate everything in society now. But, yeah, it was quite, God, what would you call yesterday? But, it was a successful action. In saying that, it was a successful action. And a lot of attention was drawn to what we represent. And, there were probably a lot more people there that believed what was happening to women's rights and are not in favour of gender ideology. But watching what happened to us, they'd probably be a little bit fearful.
Mm.
Yeah.
There must be a lot of people who wish that they could stand there and say what we're saying, but they just can't.
Yeah. But in time, but the group's growing, isn't it? So it will continue to grow. And then when people see more and more people are coming out and saying what they believe, that's when gender...
The women in our group yesterday were absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
They're just... Every one of those women just wants the same thing.
Yeah.
To get this gender ideology shit out.
Yeah.
And to get men out of women's spaces and sports, etc. And for the kids to be left alone.
Yeah.
That's what we want. That's all we want.
Yeah. And
then once that's done, we can go and do something else because...
Yeah, it's just... But they are so threatened by us talking. Now, if you are... What have they got to fear other than the truth? So it says a lot about who they are. Anyone that wants you to shut up is fearful that they know that that doesn't have the public interest, really.
That girl that was screaming her head off was acting like a toddler.
Yeah.
She wasn't getting her own way.
Yeah.
People were saying things I don't like. And I'm just going to stand here and scream because that's the only way that she can cope.
But we didn't have anti-trans signs. No, we didn't have one anti-trans sign.
No.
It's never about the trans. It's about women's rights. But women's rights threatens them. It undermines their whole. Well,
because we're women that don't agree with their delusion.
Yeah.
We ruin their whole delusion. And Helen Joy says, it's not the men that they have an issue with. There's a reason why it's coming towards women. It's not if men go along and say, I don't think a a trans woman is a real woman,
Yeah.
it doesn't shatter their illusion as much, because they want to come into our spaces. So we're the ones that have to go along with it.
Yeah.
In order for them to carry out the final thing that they want, which is access to women's and children's spaces.
Yeah. And they're so desperate. Like on Friday, we had suspicions there was a Facebook profile that was of a well-known antagonist trans activist in Brisbane. He'd been around for a while under the name Angela, and many people were suspicious of this Angela for quite some time. But this week he came out and were able to confirm that it was this. That's how desperate they are. They try to infiltrate our groups. We don't try to infiltrate their groups because we're not about. We believe.
Why would we want to?
Yeah, we believe in free speech. We're not trying to shut them down. They can, say what they want and fight for whatever they want. That's their right because it is a democracy. But to have these trans activists have these false, fake profiles and then try to infiltrate. And the strange thing is this well-known activist, because Anna McCormack started this campaign probably 12 months ago, using from the 70s the Labor slogan, "It's time." And so she's had these call flutes made up, but he had infiltrated and decided that he would use this as an art installation or something. So he even stole ideas for his own personal work. But they've stolen the suffragette flag too, and they call that the genderqueer flag. So there's nothing left, in their opinion, for women. But he has to trade a women's group to steal ideas.
Look, these men will do anything to get to any space where we are.
Yeah.
Whether it be online or in the real world. Like, they want to get into our spaces. That's what they want.
Yeah, that's right. And
they enjoy feeling like they're getting one over on us.
Yeah.
But
even Fred Sargent, like he was in the Stonewall riots in, I'm not sure, of the 70s or something. He's quite well known globally because of what he did in fighting for gay rights.
Yeah, and he was attacked, wasn't he?
Yeah, but even Fred Sargent, he had friended Fred Sargent. So as this woman, he had this backstory. They're very, very clever in some respects, but why are they wasting their time by infiltrating our groups? Do they think
they enjoy it? They get enjoyment out of it.
Yeah. But he still kept up this. I'm not this activist. That's not me. I'm just thinking no, because what he wanted a photo that was taken at an IWD conference recently because he heard that.
Yeah, tell the story how we found out about this person.
Yeah, so myself and a few other TERFs went to the IWD conference earlier this month, and Moira Deeming was there. So we had a photo taken. I think there were 5 of us in the photo. It was up on social media for a short time, but there was an identifying factor in the background of the photo because we have to make sure that the trans activists, because they go to enormous lengths to find out where we hold conferences or meet. And then when they find out where the venue is, they contact the venue and they hammer them and, basically threaten the venue that if you allow these women back again, they'll be met with consequences. So this photo, and I stupidly put it up, I should have known better, had an identifying factor in the background. And I took it down. And I think Anna mentioned something about the photo in this closed group, just to say how easy it is for these people to find out the minute details in a photo. So he didn't know that photo had been up for a short time. So he contacts me as Angela, and I suspected he was this person. I had since January. And I thought, this is very strange. But it was Kaylee's photo, and she had pixelated the background, but neither of us had put it up on social media. And I thought, okay, I'll give him the pixelated photo. And the next day, who puts it up on Twitter but this activist?
Pixelated.
Yeah, the background's pixelated. You could see us. And he used it. So he must have thought that was the photo that was put up that we took down. And dead giveaway, he fell for it. He fell for it because I just thought, okay, no one shared this. Let's see what he does with the photo. And so he puts it up, and that's it. And I went on his Facebook page as Angela, called him his name, you know, explained what we did, that people had suspicions that he was a trans activist and all this sort of thing. And he still tried to play on that, no, he was still Angela. But then he put up, because IWD blocked him, and he put up this post, and then he said he'd been blocked because people were claiming he was transgender. That's another thing that they do. You know, we never said anything about him being transgender. We just said we knew it was him. So, but they've always got to take it back to their identity. Not that he infiltrated the group to try and access information and details. They try to get names and details of women that are in these groups. They keep a long list. There's actually a global list that goes around, and we're all on that global list, and we're supposed to be afraid of this list. Everything they do, it's just ridiculous. What are they going to do with this global list? Kill everyone that's on the list? So anyway, he fell for it.
Don't give them any ideas.
Yeah.
Elsie.
Yeah, and so he fell hook, line and sinker for it. And if he thinks that people weren't aware he was a trans activist, people were just watching him and seeing what he was doing.
These people think nothing about impersonating other people. They do it on a daily basis.
Yeah,
they think it's normal to pretend to be someone that they're not. They think that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, they live.
It wouldn't enter my head to make a fake profile pretending to be someone else.
Yeah, just to access a group.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I thought we were so dangerous as a group of women. Why would you want to?
Yeah. There's never been any danger coming from us, but they say our words are violence. But then they make out that it's physical violence too. They, you know, they have to be worried about their safety. My God. We don't even go anywhere near them. We don't, when they have a public event, we don't go out and harass them. We don't
do anything more boring.
Yeah, I know. Got better things to do with our lives. This is all about women's rights and protecting children.
Yeah.
That's all this is about. It's not saying to them, you can't identify as the opposite sex, or you can't identify because there's furries now. You know, some of them identify as cats, and you've got adult men identifying as babies, as toddlers.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of thing. So it's just, I don't care what they do, but leave us alone.
Yeah.
You know, keep your fantasies to yourself. So, yeah, so it's been an interesting week, hasn't it?
Well, the day wasn't finished then. We did go to the pub, and we did have a nice...
Yeah, we debriefed over it.
Yeah, with a nice non-alcoholic beer for me.
Yeah.
And I really wanted a drink as well after all that.
Yeah.
But, and then we did a really cool banner drop from what's the bridge called?
Is it the William Jolly Bridge? It's the one that goes from the city over to West End, South Bank, West End.
And that was really a positive way to end the day.
Yeah, so that was about men in women's sports, because the Matildas played in Brisbane last night. And so Kaylee had made these wonderful banners, and it was I can't remember, no balls in women's sports.
Save women's sports.
Save women's sports. And then we had a sign which said honk if you are in support. And we stood there, you know, we secured the banners to the bridge because we're very aware of traffic, and, you know, to make sure that we're not a danger to any motorists. And it was great. And we were getting horns beeping. And every time a horn would beep, we'd all go, yeah.
Yeah, it was really good.
It made the passing pedestrians on the bridge more curious. And so they'd walk around safely into an area to read what was on the signs, on the banners, and they'd give us the thumbs up.
And take pictures.
Yeah, it was just that, it was total support.
Yeah.
And
so
that
we'd gone from being in a really concentrated area of just pure misogyny, aimed completely at you, to then going to being surrounded by people who totally agreed with what we were saying.
Yeah, it was great. It was sort of like, as much as it was unpleasant when we were protesting outside the National Labor Conference at the end, you know, it's still, you still think, well, okay, they drew attention to it because passing traffic would have seen probably our signs, their signs, real, and, you know, anyone that was there could see that they were trying to intimidate us. So, yeah, and the media was there, but of course they'll never report on what goes on, and if they do, it would have been us being the aggressors.
So were the media filming what was going on with us?
No, I'm not sure if they did, but
think about that, where that's not even worth their time reporting on. A group of men and with some women ambushing a group of women, saying what a woman is.
Yeah.
And it's not even worth reporting on.
There was a female reporter there with a few camera men or people, and I think Narissa said something about, were they interested, and she just looked the other way. You know, they just don't want to, they don't want to report anything negative about transgender activists. So, you know, but there would have been people that would have been horrified by what they saw happen to us yesterday. You know, and it's very pleasant for the police as well, because they show no respect to the police. They were swearing.
Well, they hate the police.
Yeah, they do. They really hate the police, which is strange because, you know, the police force captured by this ideology. They have their rainbow lanyards and they really hate the police. You know, they hate the Labor Party as well. You know, they never say anything nice about the Labor Party, yet the Labor Party's pushed this through.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so they don't even respect the politicians that have pushed it through. So more fool the politicians that support this, because they're not respected.
No. Yeah.
Shannon Fentiman and Anastasia Palaszczuk probably think, oh, they're pin-up girls for the transgender movement. No, they're not. They're not at all.
No, they don't care about them.
No.
But that's, you know, we just have to keep cracking on, because what's happening at the moment with this is just mind-blowing. The level of misogyny that's been essentially sanctioned by the state, because they've started rumours about us as well.
Yeah, they did.
And it gives people, like we were talking about with Angie Jones, it gives people a complete pass to treat women like us like shit in public. You know, simply for saying what a woman is.
And you could see the police, because we were surrounded by them and the police were on the outer, and you could see they were watching and they could see what was going on, but there was a reluctance to do anything. And then they thought, okay, came to a point where they thought, we've got to intervene here. And you could see they didn't want to do it. They've probably been told, no, let them cop it. But it got to a point and they just thought, no, for the safety of these women, we have to intervene. So, you know, and it's just like they've got no respect for women, and they hate older women. They really hate older women as well.
Yeah, these younger women really don't realise that they are going to get older.
Yeah.
But you don't realise that when you're young.
Yeah, you don't.
You really don't. It's something that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
You cannot imagine yourself as a 35-year-old,
let alone a 65-year-old.
Let alone a 65-year-old. Oh my God, it's just not happening to me. I'm sorry. Like, you can't imagine it when you're that young, and it's part of being young.
So they're arresting women that are the same age, many are the same age as their grandparents. You know, like when I was a kid,
yeah,
to abuse an older person like they do, no, you had to respect.
wow,
Your
yeah,
grandparents' age, it was just complete respect, and respect for police. And they have no respect for anyone. But the glazed look, they really are in a cult when they were chanting. And it was like they had gone into a program.
wow.
But the older males that were pretending they were women, they didn't have that glazed look because this is their little, this is the people that they control, the autogynophiles controlling the younger ones.
Those men, I'm sorry, they just make me feel sick. How I just feel like that's someone's brother or son or husband.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just horrible to think that how much hatred they have for women. It's just crazy that there are men. It's crazy that there are men like that anyway. But the fact that they're completely emboldened now, that they can actually stand outside in public with people filming them, being like that towards women, and they have no qualms about it.
None at all.
No issue.
Yep.
No issue at all, because in their opinion at the moment they're on, I don't think they think they're on the right side. I think they're just glad that they've got an excuse to be able to do it.
Yeah, because it will be defeated.
Yeah, it will be,
unless they get out of their bubble and start talking to the public. And I don't mean going out there being aggressive to the public and then make them afraid to say what they think. If someone could go out and interview the public, without fear of any repercussions, but the fear that governments, and it's the governments have brought this in place. They've made people fearful because they'll lose their job or they'll lose family, friends, but they don't realise there's no public support. Well, I can't say no public support, but there's minute public support. Like when it's over 90% of support we get. And Angie said she thinks it's about 98% down in Victoria. And we're not lying when we say that, because we're out there with the public.
Yeah.
And that's the way you can gauge it, is by going out and speaking to the public. Or you don't even need to speak to them. You just do an action and you get the waves, the cheers, the honking of the horn.
Yeah. We've just got to keep going and not let the bastards grind us down, basically. Talking of which, let's talk about, before we go, and I don't want to give too much time to it at all, about these
rumours.
I mean, rumours a bit too strong, I don't know. Gossip, rubbish that's going around about our little group. Well, it's not even going around because it's such a small amount of people that have an issue. But
I think it's one or two.
Yeah.
Knows how to join.
Yeah. But we started this group because, well, I'm not going to speak for you, Sue, but I'm going to say that I was finding quite a level of negativity and drama, which makes me feel very uncomfortable. Even talking about this, I just don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like doing it. But it's been 6 months now, Sue.
Yeah, and we've
stayed quiet, and things are still being said.
Yeah.
And so I just want to say, from our point of view, that we've set this group up because we wanted one place that we could concentrate our actions, our speakers' corners. We're doing things with awesome women.
Yeah.
And it made it a lot easier to have a group.
Yeah, it did.
But we've been accused of basically
appropriating Kelly J. Keen's brand, standing for women or let women speak, which is completely untrue. And so this person rang into Kelly J last Tuesday and made these accusations, which are completely false. And we just thought, we've not said anything. But I think
we've been busy.
Yeah, because we do focus just on the actions, and it happened six months ago, and we've set up the group. Everything positive has come from setting up the group. And then on last week, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, we got a message from people telling us that someone went on Kelly J's program and had completely lied about how Woman Up started, that it was appropriated from Kelly J's, that we filtered people from the Kelly J Signal chat, which was wrong because we'd all known each other well before Kelly J.
Well, actually, what was referenced was the Speakers Corner Brisbane, which the only thing that could have been was the mailing list that I set up, which I'm very much within my rights to do. I was going down the police station every month to put the application in.
Yeah.
I was going out of my way to do the Speakers Corners. You were helping as well with everything else that needed to be done. And I set up a mailing list to let women
and that was actually
know.
Jay had been to Australia.
Yeah.
It wasn't before.
Yeah. And it was to let women and men know about what was going on, who didn't necessarily want to be involved in
on Facebook
chat groups.
Yes.
But they wanted to turn up to the Speakers Corners.
Yeah.
Having to justify why I've done that as why I've made my own email address, email mailing list.
Yeah.
I don't think I need to justify that, And
they weren't filtered from Standing for Women as claimed. And then the accusation that Speakers Corner was rebranded from Kelly J's brand is another lie.
Most of the women in our group were not involved with Standing for Women whatsoever.
Oh, that's right. And the thing is, IWD Brisbane Meanjin had been doing this for well over 12 months before Kelly J came to Australia. And Anna decided that she wanted to, and we've spoken about this before on the channel, and Anna decided she wanted to pull back from doing anything out on the streets and concentrate on these conferences. And Anna can verify that. And she did hand it over and wanted women to keep going with it. But this person that made that accusation was part of Speakers Corner. They co-MC'd the first 3 Speakers Corner after Kelly J had been. And then she goes on, makes out that she wasn't a part of it. She was. And it was never taken from Kelly J, which is wrong to do to Kelly J, to use her platform to air this dirty laundry and tell these, they are lies. They're just blatant lies. Like even mentioning of the PA system, how the PA system was bought to use at Speakers Corner. No, her husband's a musician, and she told everyone that it was his PA system. So, we just thought we had to clear this up. It is uncomfortable speaking about it, and you don't want to bag this person out too much, but
it's been 6 months.
Yeah.
We have been banner dropping. We've been doing our Speakers Corners. Yeah. We've been speaking to people. We've been doing protests. We've been doing rallies. We've been doing leafleting.
Yeah.
Been standing outside politicians' offices.
Yeah.
We don't have time for this.
Yeah.
That's why we haven't said anything about it, because it's...
And the Woman Up group was about doing actions, and Kelly J doesn't do that. She does a Speakers Corner. She's got a very niche thing that she does, and she piques people globally, and she's amazing what she does. We don't do what Kelly J does, and they don't do what we do. We're the foot soldiers. Kelly J's getting a global audience and piquing people. We just talk about on this channel our actions, and that's all we're about. Is we want women. we want to embolden women enough to go out there, even if there's 2 or 3 of them, and go out and do it.
And that's what's why we're saying this now, because we don't want women to be put off by drama.
Yeah, exactly, because we don't want drama.
No, I hate it, and I don't think we've actually had any drama.
No, we haven't.
Ages.
Yeah,
it's awesome when we go out and do these actions, and we don't need to talk anymore about that. We've cleared it. But when we go out and do these actions, and then we go to the pub after, it's just amazing. Every woman there is just so sincere.
Yeah, and then we've got some men that come along too, and they're great as well.
Yeah,
it's just an amazing sort of bond going through this that you do have, and it's not about being a personality. Who gives a shit about being a personality? We just want to get women out there. Like, if we could get 10 women, we could have 3 lots in different spots at the same time, because you don't need 20 or 30. Like when these trans activists go, oh, they only had 6 people there. We can do a successful action with 2 people. Why do you need, if you got too many people? It was a perfect number yesterday, and it wasn't 6. I think this man in Brisbane who criticises us, he can't count. He always gets the numbers wrong.
Yeah.
But we had 11 people yesterday, and that was enough to control the numbers, to make sure everyone was okay, because we're very concerned with making sure that everyone's safe as well.
Yeah, we are.
We
are. No man is left behind.
Yeah, or woman, or however they identify.
Yeah.
So we'd just love to see, if anyone is doing small actions out there, also contact us. We'd love to have you on and talk to you about your actions, because women and men, we might start getting a whole lot of regions doing these actions all over Queensland, and waking people up. And even
all over Australia.
Yeah. Oh, it'd be fantastic to hear from anyone.
Yeah.
Particularly if you want to start up a group in your area. You start with 1 or 2. Look at Emma in Townsville. And, even through this channel, she got to hook up with another person, and now there's another person, and that's continuing to grow also. And
I will say there is a lot of weird behaviour among the women as well.
Yeah.
That we've got enough shit to deal with these misogynists. That's why we don't react to the gossip, because I find it very childish. I find it a waste of time. And there's more important things to be talking about than that. And so my point is, if you do hear of things going around about anyone, contact that person and ask that person. And don't just take what you hear as what is true. Contact the person, take that person as you find them. And if that happens, then I think we'll get there a lot quicker.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And I mean, Kelly J herself, every time she signs off, she always says, if you can stand together, keep focused.
And I agree to an extent, but then also as a human being and as a woman, I am allowed to have a personal boundary.
Oh yeah, of course. But
if someone is being especially damaging, then I'm allowed to keep that person at arm's length.
Yeah, well, because then that negative energy is brought in.
Yeah.
And then that brings down it just brings the movement down.
Yeah.
And then, you just can't waste your time with it. But we haven't said anything. We've moved on, and we've been really delighted with the actions and the
I think our group of women is probably one of the groups of women in the whole of Queensland that's really... We're lucky that we've got a good number of women.
Yeah.
Because some areas in Australia, there's 1 or 2, and it's hard to find women to be courageous enough to come out and do it.
Yeah.
Or women that don't have that much to lose, that they can do it like we can.
Yeah,
so we are really lucky that we've got this awesome group of women who are able to come together and get this shit done.
And also like working with IWD, because the action yesterday, it was IWD's idea to do it, and Anna knew about it. Yeah. And two groups came together, IWD Brisbane Meanjin and Woman Up. And then, you know, like the Women's Rights Network with the No Men in Sports.
Yeah.
And we're doing stuff representing them as well. And so we just want to work with people, and it's not about personalities or ego. That's got nothing to do with it. It's about defeating the ideology, getting life back to normal.
Yeah.
And stopping these poor kids from being.
I mean, I don't want my daughter to grow up in a world where she has to pretend that a man is a woman if he comes into her space.
Yeah.
I'm just not accepting it. So that's why I'm doing this.
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
that's why I'm doing this. Like, I'm not doing this for fun.
Oh no, none of us are doing it for fun.
Even we make the most of it when we have something in common with a group of women like we do.
Yeah, and then when we had the debrief after the action and before we went to do the banner drop, and you know, I guess a few people felt uncomfortable, but you get the adrenaline going because but no one went away going, "Oh, I'm never doing that again." They were all really, you know, when's the next one? Yeah. So when these trans activists do that to us, it doesn't deter us. It just
it was completely surreal and bizarre.
Yeah.
But it was because we had safety in numbers. It was all right.
Yeah.
And it was completely out of our control because these people popped up from nowhere.
Yeah. The renter mob. The Greens are
renter band. Where did the trumpets and the drums come from?
I know.
It was bizarre.
But that's a Greens Party. That they were representing the Greens. It's just who would have thought that a political party would stoop so low? And they can't say, "Oh, they were just members." This was you. When you've got people out and about, they are representing you as a political party. So the Greens don't want them to be known as lunatics.
I don't think they care.
Yeah, I don't think they care either.
No, I don't.
But how many Greens voters will they lose? I mean, they've only got 2 seats in Queensland.
Are Greens the type of party that will have just loyal supporters from? Doesn't matter what they do, they're the Greens. I'm voting for the Greens.
No, I don't think so.
No?
I think people. There's a lot of Greens members that don't know. They've lost a lot of Greens members from the Victorian Greens. And, you know, most people are rational, normal thinking people that believe there are only 2 sexes. And while they're in a state of not knowing what is going on, they'll be Green supporters. But it won't take much for us to get out there and, you know, the footage that's gone around of the Greens. This is the Greens. And the Greens, if you don't like these people representing you, you've got to do something about it, because this is who you now are. And so it's very damaging. And so there may not be any Greens parties soon. They're not big enough anyway. You know what I mean? That they really are still, you know, they're one of, I guess you would call the major parties. They're still pretty irrelevant. I used to be a Greens supporter.
Yeah.
Not even Adam Bant is a trans activist, the head of the Greens in Australia. They're bad. They're really bad news. At least Labor tries to keep, you know, federal Labor keeps, but, you know, I think they must have some inkling that if they want to be kept in as government, they're going to have to do something about it. They've got until the next election, 2026.
Yeah. Well, you know, it doesn't take Einstein to work out that this isn't going to be a vote. It's not going to be a winner.
No.
So let's see what happens. Let's just keep cracking on.
Yeah. So yesterday, they sort of did us a favour by behaving the way they did. You come away from actions and you go, "Oh, they've given us something more." Every time you come away from an action, you go, "They've given it to me on a platter." and we can put it on social media. And then Kelly J has always said, hasn't she, about the trans activists do the work for us.
Yeah.
It is so true. It really is so true.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note,
I
think we'll wrap it up and say goodbye.
Yeah. Okay. Bye, everyone. Thanks
All
for
right then.
See ya.
Bye.